Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Real pleasure to be here, and thanks very much for coming to GCV. My name is Sam Harmon. I'm a partner on the investment team at Oxford Science Enterprises, or OSE. OSE is really proud and happy to be supporting GCV for multiple years now, including this year. We've got a really exciting session for you now, hopefully. So I will do a very brief overview of our model and our VC. And then as quickly as I can, I'm going to hand over to the much more exciting bit, which is hearing from three of our highest performing portfolio companies who I'll introduce in turn. Brilliant. So first of all, just a little bit about OSE. So we are a venture builder and a VC based in Oxford, and we exist to back and build the highest ambition, highest potential science companies that are spinning out of Oxford University and the surrounding ecosystem. We've been doing that for about the last 10 years or so. We have a unique relationship with the University of Oxford where we get early visibility, early access to all of the cutting-edge discoveries coming out of all of the labs across the departments. We have a global shareholder base of institutional, strategics, sovereign wealth funds, and pension funds. And we invest cross-sector. So I run deep tech. That is one of three teams that we have, the others being health tech and life sciences. We are the world's largest single university venture builder. We've picked Oxford as our home and as our pipeline. We see incredible opportunity in terms of the quality and quantity of research that are coming out of the labs there. In the last 10 years, we've been really proud to say that the world agrees with us. So other co-investors are flooding into Oxford to help co-invest and build these businesses. We have a really healthy portfolio of over 100 companies. We build and invest in approximately one every month. On the deep tech side, really pleased to say that we've been going on a run recently with 3 unicorns in the last 9 months, including 1 exit. And we are on track for 3 billion of NAV as OSE by the end of 2030. So that's our North Star, and we're working really hard every day to try and achieve that with the investments that we make in our companies. I don't know if I need to sell deep tech to anyone, but we love doing deep tech in my team. We go for 10 billion outcomes plus. We go for things with large moats, incredible teams who have been steeped in their field or their vertical for years and decades, people that are trying to build entirely new categories and dominate them. Almost all of our companies are positive impact as well as the returns that we drive for. And there's no better place in the world, we believe, than Oxford to sort of have this vision of capitalizing on amazing research and putting patient capital behind them. Brief introduction to our portfolio on deep tech. So we subdivide deep tech into 3 main streams or pillars. Future of computing. So we have a lot going on in quantum, semis, data center infra, pure AI and software, which is a growing part of the portfolio. On the energy side, we have a lot of investments in clean energy, decarbonization, electric power, ag tech. And then on industrials, we have a number of investments around critical minerals, advanced sensors and devices, manufacturing, space, and increasingly robotics as well. We definitely don't do this alone. We have a very wide base now of co-investors globally who come into our companies anywhere from seed right the way through to Series C, Series D, and crossover rounds. Always really proud of this slide and how it evolves, every 6 months when we update it. But really proud to have partnered with the greatest logos in deep tech investing in the UK, in continental Europe, in the US, and in the rest of the world as well, particularly including strategics. And we're always really proud to have CVCs and strategic investors join our companies for the journey. It's been a really great year for the portfolio. We've had massive successes both on the fundraising side, exits, and also milestones within the companies. I won't go through each of these in turn, but across AI, semiconductors, quantum computing, photonics, It's been a really fantastic year in terms of outcomes for our companies, and we're always happy to connect people with individual companies whenever they might want it. But for today, we're focusing on three. So today you'll hear from Chris at OddKa, Roberto at Seoxium, and then Dan at Snowfox, in that order. So rather than me give you an overview, I will let these guys kind of pitch their companies and tell you about all the exciting progress that they're making. So I believe, without any further ado, I can invite Chris to the stage to kick off with OddKa.
At OddKa, we're creating industrial heat from sunlight. Today, there's no renewable, low-cost alternative to burning massive quantities of gas and diesel at industrial sites. And industrial heat is used in pretty much everything that we make, pretty much everything that you touch, from the aluminium on the casing of your phone, to the glass in the screen, to the concrete in the floors, to the plasterboard on the wall. And the paint that's on the plasterboard needs huge amounts of heat to produce. This is a huge target market. To Sam's point on deep tech, we're looking at huge markets. As I said, we're creating industrial heat from sunlight with our breakthrough tech. And our market sizing puts us at $300 billion in sun-rich countries. And our priority today is across mining, metals, cement, and ceramics. But let me tell you a little bit about the breakthrough technology that is targeting those industries. So what we do is we collect sunshine across a field of mirrors. We concentrate that sunlight up to 1,000 times. We shine that beam of concentrated sunlight to the top of a tower to create a very intense beam of light, and we turn that into a superheated jet of air that comes out the bottom of the tower that you can use directly in industry. So imagine melting metal with these high temperatures. Imagine baking ceramics or creating concrete with this industrial heat. And this is a spin-out from the Oxford Thermofluids Institute. These are experts in rocket science, in jet engines, who understand hot gases capturing energy and moving that energy to another place. And they've applied that rocket science and jet science toolbox to the world of concentrated solar and industrial heat. Companies are engaging with us for a few reasons. The first is decarbonization. This is a 100% renewable solution where today there are very, very few. But actually the main reasons they're engaging are around cost and around energy security. Energy security is not out of the headlines on a daily basis, and if you're building a mine site that's going to be there for 50 years, you're going to be seeing quite a few price spikes over the course of the history of that plant. But ultimately, fossil fuel is expensive. Moving to electricity is even more expensive than the current fossil fuels. Where we are is we have done a demonstrator in Spain at the 100 kilowatt level, and our first commercial plants will be at parity with electricity. And that's an unsubsidized value. So unsubsidized, we're already at parity with electricity. As we drive scale through the business, we'll be below the cost of fossil fuels. And at that point, we start to rethink how industry is run. We start to rethink where industry is based if you have a truly zero marginal cost provision of heat. And we see ourselves coming down this cost curve very, very quickly. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job correctly as CEO if I didn't mention money. We're currently warming people up to a Series A that will be running later this year as we grow the business. A lot of capital will be deployed in the business through project finance, but we also want equity investors to join us on this journey as we grow, as we develop the technology even further, as we move down the cost curve, and as we move to our first commercial installations starting next year. Thank you very much for listening to my brief presentation on creating industrial heat from sunlight. I'd love to talk to you more, either about as an off-taker of heat or as an investor in OddKa. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Chris. Moving straight on, can I invite Roberto to give us a little bit more about Seloxium, please?
Thank you, Sam, and good afternoon. It's great to be here. Thank you to GTV and, of course, our friends at OSE for the opportunity. And our mission is to unlock the recovery of critical metals from industrial and mining waste. For those who aren't aware, critical metals are foundational to the energy transition, but they're also essential for the production of pharmaceuticals, agrochemicals, and defense systems. And demand is said to surge to up to 10 times current levels by 2030. At the same time, primary supply is tightening. For example, take palladium. 56% of the world's palladium is mined in South Africa, and their sector is coming to end of life as mines are closed. Geopolitics is, of course, affecting supply. How can we address these issues? Well, we could just build more mines, but new mining capacity takes a long time, 10 to 15 years at least. It's extremely capital intensive and difficult to finance. And also, building new mines just concentrates the geopolitical risk. You have to go to where the resources are. Mining also has a significant environmental footprint. For every kilogram of palladium produced from mining, primary mining, 25 tons of CO2 are emitted. Another option, of course, is to recycle what's already been dug out of the ground. However, existing technologies are inefficient or they can't deal with complex waste streams. Well, Seloxium has developed a universal platform technology that can address the critical metal challenges, unlocking profitable extraction from primary process and industrial waste. We can extract 25% more metal value, we can do it 4 times faster, and with half as much CapEx. Our platform is built around a proprietary polymer, a liquid phase polymer that we call Selective. We can tune this polymer to selectively capture most metals from solution. We add the Selective to the waste stream, it bonds to the target metal. We then add a reagent that causes a highly concentrated metal-bearing solid to precipitate out of solution. We then simply filter, and we have a highly concentrated metal-containing solid. This is all done in a standard wet chemistry environment using off-the-shelf equipment. That means low CapEx. The process is fast, robust, and highly selective. And importantly, we've proven this process at commercial scale. We have a pilot facility in the north of England at the old ICI facility in Teesside, where we've processed over 40,000 litres of agrochemical waste, and from that we've extracted almost $2 million worth of palladium. Our recovery rates were over 98% compared to 60% with conventional approaches. In addition to the fixed processing plant that we have in the north of England, we are developing mobile modular units. And what that means is we can locate our processing capacity on customer sites, meaning that stranded and remote waste assets, such as mine tailings, can be economically tapped also. Current mining and recycling options, you're looking at upwards of $500 million with ROIs in excess of 10 years. Our mobile modular system costs around, currently, $350,000. We expect that to come down significantly and delivers an ROI of less than 12 months. We're currently ready to scale in 3 high-value pillars. The first is platinum group metals, where we'll be building on the success of our pilots in the north of England. Gold, where we're partnering with the owners of gold-containing waste. That could be mine tailings, that could be carbon fines, and we'll be putting our modular units on their site. The third pillar is in rare earths, where although we can extract the rare earths themselves, what we're focusing on is removing radioactives. 80 to 90% of the world's rare earth oxides, rare earth deposits rather, contain radioactives, which means it's hard for them to be processed in the West. We can selectively remove uranium and thorium, meaning that rare earths can be processed in the West, reducing the reliance on China. We have a number of commercial discussions underway. Based on those, we forecast over $150 million of recurring revenue in 5 years' time. Our goal is to be a full solution provider, not just a technology play. That means we can take waste all the way through to a highly valuable product. Our IP moat reflects that. spanning the entire process. We have 4 product and process patent families, together with trade secrets and know-how. We've assembled a team with decades of experience in startups, hard tech, and commercialization in the mining and wastewater industries. Christian Peters, our CEO, sends his apologies. He was planning to be here but couldn't today. Is a PhD in chemical engineering with extensive experience in industrial waste water treatment and desalination. Our CCO, Chief Commercial Officer, Richard Dixon, PhD in chemistry with extensive international experience supplying chemicals and engineering services to mining and industry. And our chairman, Dr. Nelson Mora, and one of our directors, Dr. Prakash Govindan, they've both built billion-dollar businesses in the mining and wastewater industries with Jetty and Gradient Resources. We're relatively young. We were incorporated just in 2022. Since then, we've raised over $10 million of equity and secured almost $2 million of grant funding. And just today, we've announced an additional $2 million plus grant from the EU EIC. We're now about to launch in the next couple of months our $19 million Series A. That will enable us to deploy 8 mobile modular units in 2027 and 2028. That will lead to ARR of $2 million in 2027. We'll use that funding also to establish our platform for growth, which will bring us to a forecasted ARR of over $150 million in 2031. Thank you very much. If you're interested in learning more, please reach out. Thank you.
Excellent. And then wrapping us up for today, we've got Dan from Snowfox.
Thank you. Brilliant stuff. So I'd like to start by talking about hydrogen. And a lot of this story is similar to what we've already heard about its essential nature. It's an amazing molecule. It's the most abundant in our universe, but it also touches every single part of our everyday lives. From the food that you eat, and the fertilizer that helps to grow that, from the materials in your clothes, to things that we come into contact with. We simply can't separate ourselves from this, and therefore we have to think about really meaningfully about how we're going to treat hydrogen in the future, but also its potential beyond what it is today, which is a chemical feedstock, and what it could be in the future as an energy solution. So today we look at $170 to $200 billion sort of global market size for things related to hydrogen production, but it comes with a very significant impact, and it comes with a 2.5% global contribution to CO2. This leaves off-takers and producers without an alternative in a very difficult place, where they've got to make a brutal choice between low cost or low carbon. And this is where natural hydrogen fits into things. Okay. So natural hydrogen is also known as white or geologic hydrogen. It comes from carbon-free processes and is generated in vast quantities in the subsurface. It has outstanding core credentials, which mean that it has the potential to be the least carbon-intensive form of hydrogen, but also delivered at cost parity with existing hydrogen production methods today. So that intersection, we feel, lines absolutely perfectly against that problem statement we see today of being able to reconcile the credentials you're looking for with your future hydrogen supply. The bit that gets really interesting, though, is that next step, when we think about just how big this could be and also what that global distribution looks like. So we say here 5.6 trillion tons of resource potential in the subsurface. This is the number generated not just by the work we've done at Snowfox, but also ratified by the United States Geological Survey. Kind of a wildly big number. So to try and get our heads around this, we think that if we can commercialize just 2% of that, we could replace global energy demand for 20 years from 2030 out to 2050. And imagine that, a clean energy source to aid that transitionary period. When we then also map onto that, its distribution, this is where it gets really interesting. So 70% of continental landmass or the onshore environment has the right rocks to produce hydrogen. When you think about the impact of being able to locate strategic energy supply in today's modern context of energy resilience and energy challenge, has the potential to really reformat our view upon these questions and challenges, but also get us to rethink about some of the geopolitical questions that we're all facing today. So where does Snowfox fit into this? Here we are. So Snowfox is an upstream exploration company, and we're building everything you need to go from that huge resource potential all the way through to that commercial reality, and unpacking all of those pieces of technical risk that sit between the two. Our mission is to flow free gas phase hydrogen to the surface. You want to drill a hole, be stood next to that hole and have gas coming out of that and for part of that gas stream to contain hydrogen. When we think about that, we know that those molecules are there. And the reason we know that they're there is because our investors and partners tell us so. What they've told us is that now that we're looking for hydrogen in the subsurface, we find it everywhere we're drilling. It's hiding in plain sight. So at Snowfox, we're building three pillars to help us unpack this problem statement. The first is a suite of technologies spun out of the University of Oxford with the support from OSE, enable us to adopt a first principles approach to understand the physical realities of how hydrogen is made, how it moves in the subsurface, and then where we can find it today. This approach enables us to apply this technology globally, but it's also scalable and repeatable. So we think about tackling the full breadth of the challenge and really getting into the 5.6 trillion tons on that previous slide, then these are the approaches we need to adopt. Second pillar here is team. And similar to the other offerings you've heard from OSE, we have an outstanding world-class team, but not just across those scientific elements. We've already integrated technology, exploration, and offtake into those like early investor group. And this has enabled us to make very rounded, but also future-leaning decisions as we look to connect supply and demand to be able to have world-class hydrogen projects. Finally, we're delivering a diversified portfolio of hydrogen opportunities. So these are real assets in the ground, mineral licenses that we own, and we currently operate across 3 continents and 5 countries. This diversification lets us unlock some of that potential complexity we see in the subsurface, enabled us to take that next step forward. It also enables us to validate our technology pieces. It lets us maximize our learnings, but also benefit from the highest chance of possible success. So at Snowfox, we're here to reset that view upon global hydrogen so that it can play that piece in unlocking a low-carbon future. If anyone would like to talk about investment or about the subsurface, very happy to take any questions afterwards. Thank you.
Excellent. I'd like to quickly thank all of our speakers today from the portfolio. I hope it's been interesting to hear a little bit more about 3 incredible high-growth, high-potential markets, hear a little bit more about a flavor of what we do here at OSE as well. If anyone's interested to reach out, please do so. And with that, I think I'll hand back to the GCV team. Thank you.